Anybody has tried the yesterday's problem, whatever I gave? So this is a problem which I gave. So this is a problem I gave. So just we have the load admittance, which is 4 minus j6 into 10 power minus 3 Siemens. Characteristic impedance is 100 and F is 10 gigahertz. So this is what the normalized value of the load admittance. So now we have normalized with respect to the characteristic impedance Z0. So which is, if you take the Y0, it is 0.001. This is the load point. So now let us look at the load point, where exactly it will be located. Okay, so that is 0.4 minus j0.6. So we can see here, so this is the 0.4 and minus 0.j6. Okay, so this is the point where we have our YL normalized. Okay, so this is a point here you can see. So this is actually the 0.4, the admittance, in the admittance conductance value is 0.4 and here it is a 0.6. So meeting of these two, we are getting the normalized admittance. So now we have to design a lumped element matching circuit. So you can see, so this is the conductance, so resistance circle. This is the resistance circle. Unity resistance circle, and this is the unity conductance circle. So now this is our load point. So now it is outside both unity conductance circle and unity resistance circle. So now how many solutions will exist? Hello? How many solutions if it is both, the load is both outside the unity conductance and unity resistance? 4 solutions. Yeah, 4 solutions. So now we need to look at what are all the 4 possible solutions. Okay, so the first solution we can do this by moving on the conductance circle. Okay, so this is a conductance circle where I move till the value of the unity resistance circle. So this much only I have moved. So now if I move on the conductance circle downwards, what is the element? Which is the element if I move on the conductance circle downwards? It is shunt capacitance, right? So if you are moving downwards, it is capacitance always. Moving upwards is inductance always. So then if you are moving on the conductance circle, so it is so if you are down or conductance circle, it is a shunt capacitance. Okay, so now we are moving on the conductance circle downwards. So this is a shunt capacitor. Now we need to see how much the susceptance offered by the capacitor. So now you can see, so this is the point where we have the susceptance value 0.5, that is minus j0.5, and here we have the value 0.6. Okay, so now we have j5 minus j0.5 minus of minus j0.6. So we are subtracting the value from this point to this point. So now this is a susceptance offered by the capacitor. So now this is a shunt capacitor. So we have, so j omega c divided by y0, which is equal to j0.1. Okay, so this is a shunt capacitor. So let us look at the solution 1. Okay, so the solution 1 is, so the first element is j omega c by y0, which is equal to j0.1. So from this you can calculate what is the capacitance, which is 0.1 into 0.01. This is the y0 value, and divided by omega. Omega is 2 pi into 10 into 10 power 9. So calculate what is the value of capacitance. So now this is the shunt capacitor. So this whatever we are moving, that it is offering a 0.1 susceptance, J0.1 susceptance. Okay, so now what is the capacitor value? So 1 into 10 power minus 1 and 1 into 10 power minus 2, we can write 1 into 10 power minus 3 divided by 2 pi into 10 into 10 power 9. Now if I take this one, so upper side, so we will going to get 1 over 20 pi picofarad. So you can calculate what is 1 over 20 pi. What is the value? Anybody calculated? What's the value?
0.015.
Okay, 0.015 picofarad. So this is what the capacitance we got. So now, so from this point, so again I am from this point to the center point I am moving. So now since I am moving on the resistance circle downwards, it is a series capacitance. Okay, so this is series capacitance. Now see what is the reactance offered by the series capacitance. So now we can see at this point the reactance is 1.2, okay, and at this point it is 0. So now the reactance offered by the capacitor, that is series capacitor, so that we know for the series capacitance formula, that is minus j by omega c z0. So now which is offering the capacitance, which is offering, it is 0 minus j 1.2, which is equal to minus j 1.2. So this is the reactance offered by the series capacitor. Okay, so this is the series capacitor. We are moving from this point to this point on the unity resistance circle downwards. So that's why it is a series capacitor. So now find out the value of the series capacitor. So that is C, which is equal to 1 over 2 pi into 10 into 10 power 9 into Z0 is 100 into 1.2. So this is what the capacitance value. So now the first solution is, so we have the YL and we have find out the shunt capacitance. First, this is C1 and this is series capacitance C2. So let us take this one C1 and this one C2. Okay, so that is what the solution 1. So find out the C2. What is the value of C2? What is the value of C2? So it is 10 power minus 12 divided by 2.4 pi. This is what we will going to get. So 1 over 2.45, how much? How much you have got? 1 over 2.4 pi. What is the value? Hello, anybody got it or not?
0.132.
Okay, so 0.132 picofarad. This is what the C2 is going to get. Okay, So this is a shunt capacitor and this is a series capacitor. So now solution 2 we will see. What is the solution 2? Can anybody try to solve? So the solution 2, you can from this point to till this point. So that is on the other side of the unity resistance circle. That is from this point to, so till from this point to this point. Now we have to see what is the value of the susceptance offered by the shunt capacitor. So since we are moving on the conductance circle downwards, it is a shunt capacitor. Okay. So now, and this one from here to here, it is on the resistance circle upwards, it is a series inductor. So that is solution 2. I will write it as, this is the solution 2, that is we have the load and we have the shunt capacitor. Let us take, this is C1, and then series inductor L1. So this is what we will going to get the solution, but we have to find out what is the C1 and L1. So in order to find out C1, first you need to, so how much susceptance offered by this you have to calculate. So let us take that point. So now here it is the minus j 0.6 and here it is the susceptance is 0.5. Okay. So that is plus j 0.5 minus of minus j 0.6. So this is what the susceptance offered by the capacitor. So that we know j, so omega c divided by y naught, which is equal to this one. So now C1, which is equal to, so 0.5 minus of minus 0.6, it is 1.1. So 1.1 into y naught, it is 0.01. So this divided by 2 pi into 10 power 9. So this is what the C1 you will going to get for the this one, this solution. That is solution 2. So what is the value of C1? You can find out. So it is 1.1 into 10 power minus 2 divided by 20 pi into 10 power minus 9. So, or you can write 11 by 20 pi into 10 power minus 12. What is the value? So this type of problem, examination, at least one type of problem definitely it will come. So if you practice, then you will going to get.
Sir, 1.59 into 10 power minus 13.
1.59 into 10 power minus 13.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we will take it as 0.159 picofarad.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is what the capacitance. So now we need to find out what is the shunt inductor. Series inductor. Because we are moving on the resistance circle upwards, it is a series inductor. So now see at what is the reactance offered by this series inductor. Now we can see, so this is the value where we have the inductance, that is reactance value. So the series inductor which offers the reactance value is 1.2. Okay. So now here it is 0. So since it is in the lower portion, it is negative. Okay. So that we will going to get. So 0 minus of minus j 1.2, which is equal to j 1.2. So this is a reactance offered by the inductor and which is equal to j omega L by Z naught. So this is the series inductance equation. So the reactance of the series inductor. So now we can find out what is the value of L. Find out what is the value of L. So on this back side itself we will calculate what is the value of L. J omega L divided by Z naught, which is equal to j 1.2. So now this gives L equal to 1.2 into 100 is divided by 2 pi into 10 into 10 power 9. So this is what the value. So you try to do it, the inductance value, calculate it. So this is equal to, so this is 10 times it will go, and we have 12 by 2 pi into 10 power minus 9. Find out what is the value of L. So in terms of nanohenry you can put how much?
1.91 into 10 power minus 9.
Yeah, so 1.91 nanohenry you can able to put. So this is what the value. So that is capacitance value is 0.159. So this is so you can see this is 0.159 picofarad, and this one is, so what is the value we have calculated? 1.91 nanohenry. This is the solution 2. Okay. So capacitor, shunt capacitor, and inductance L1. Now you can able to find out other two solutions also. Okay, so you need to move on the resistance circle till the conductance circle reaches, then from that point you can reach the center point. Okay, so now this is the, so one possible solution. Okay, so this is what we are moving, solution 3. Okay, so and then solution 4 it is, so we have to move till the point here. Okay, and then you have to move here. This is solution 4. So from this point to this point, and then this is solution 4. So now what are the elements? Can you able to tell what are the elements for solution 3 and solution 4? Solution 3, so we have moving on the resistance circle downwards. What is the value? What is the component? What is the component? So solution 3, so we have YL. So now what is the component if you are moving downwards on the resistance circle?
Capacitance.
Yeah, so it is a series capacitance. Okay, so now again from the conductance circle again downwards. Conductance circle downwards again means it is a shunt capacitance. Yeah. So now we have to find out what is the value of C1 and C2. So first you write like this configuration, what are the elements, so then we can able to find out what is the value of those elements. So now we can see from this point to this point, you see how much the reactance offered by the series capacitor. So now you can see here, you can read the reactance value at this point is 1.2, and the reactance value at this point is, so it is around 0.45. Okay, so now it is, so plus j 0.45, so this point, so where we have this value, the reactance value, minus this value, that is j 1.2. So how much we will going to get? It will be minus j 0.75, is it? Okay, so now if we equate this one to the series, so the reactance of the series capacitor, that is minus j by omega c z naught. Okay, so that is what we are going to get, the series reactance of a capacitor. So now we can calculate what is C. C which is equal to, so 1 over 0.75 into 100 into the value of omega. Put it that and we will going to get the value of capacitor C1. So let us take, this is C1, so we will take that C1. Find out the value of C1 here. What is the value? What is the value of C1? Terms of picofarad, you tell what is the value. What is the value? Anybody got or not? Okay, so you try to do it. So this is the values and you can try to solve this problem by your own. Okay, so now let us move on to the next concept. So let us move to the next concept, that is impedance matching using a stub or distributed element. Okay. Okay. So now we have seen the lumped element matching. Okay. So now we will see impedance matching using distributed elements. That is, we will use a stub kind of thing. So that is stub matching. Also we can call it as the stub matching. So what is meant by stub? So the stub is a simple piece of transmission line. So even piece of wire or piece of conductor or piece of transmission line, we will call it as the stub. Okay. Why we need to go for this stub matching or using distributed element means, so whenever we have the lumped elements, when we go for higher frequencies, okay, so like 20 gigahertz, 50 gigahertz, 100 gigahertz like that, when we go for higher frequencies, this lumped element size, it will be mostly comparable to the, so this the wavelength whatever we are operating. Okay, so it is most comparable to the, so let us take, if you take 1 gigahertz in terms of millimeter is there, even the inductor size also it will be in terms of centimeter or millimeter it will be there. So then the size, whenever it is comparable to the component size or whatever the operating wavelength, then it is very difficult to the undesired quantities we cannot control, like radiation and other things. So that's why, and also the space is one of the constraint. Okay, so if the component size is gone increasing, so then you cannot able to put in a so small compact size. So that's why, so when we go for higher frequencies, okay, for higher frequencies, So we use stub matching or distributed element matching. Okay, so that is what we will go for the distributed element or stub matching. So now we know already, so we have different kinds of these stubs, that is, so whenever we have finding out the input impedance application, we have seen that, so there are parallel stubs and series stubs. Okay, parallel stub and series stub. Okay, so again we have, so in this two types, that is open and short. So either we can use parallel open stub, parallel short stub, okay, or series open stub, series short stub. Okay, even parallel also we can call it as the shunt stub. Okay, so now whenever we use this distributed elements kind of thing, so now we need to for matching we need to take care the transmission line characteristic impedance also. Okay, so let us take, so if we have the load, okay, so if I have the load in terms of YL, that is the admittance load. So now we have the transmission line which we have connected at a distance of D. Okay, so this transmission piece of line which is connected, so at a distance of D from the load, then at this point I am connecting a short circuited stub or open circuited stub based on my requirement. Okay, so now, so we have the YL here. Now how to match to the input impedance, that is characteristic impedance of the line or the characteristic admittance. So first we need to arrive from the load till this point before connecting the stub. So we need to see an impedance which is equal to real part of this, that is whatever we see at this point, let us take at Z1, so which should be equal to Z0 plus, so some value of reactance. Okay, so that reactance, we don't know how much reactance which is there here. So and we have the characteristic impedance, that is different impedance will be there here. So before we move from this point to this point, so now we have to move from the load point to this point in such a way that this real part of the impedance which we seen at this point should be equal to Z0. So like that we need to move from load point to the point of the stub. So now this reactance will be nullified by, so we need to find out what is the length of this stub. Okay, so in order to eliminate this reactance, we know already some, so if we have some length of the stub, if we move from short circuit point or open circuit point, so based on the open stub or short stub, it will give some reactance or susceptance. So that length we need to find out, so where it will going to eliminate this reactance, so that we can, after this connection of stub, so the impedance C which is equal to Z0. That is how we will going to match the impedance. Okay, so similarly if I have the series case, that is if I have the ZL, again I have the connection of the transmission line from the load point, we have to move a distance in such a way that at this point, so I have to see the impedance which is equal to Z0 plus Jx. So here actually, so if I parallel connection if it is there, so I have to see the Y1, so that is Y0 plus Jb, that is susceptance. So since it is a parallel, we have to see in the admittance. So this is the impedance we have to see in the impedance chart. So now after this we will connect the series short stub or even the open stub, whatever it is desired. Then we have to find out the length of this stub, so in order to eliminate this. So now after connection of stub, we will see the impedance which is equal to Z0 itself. So that is how we will going to match. Okay, so first we will go, so the procedure is, so first we need to locate the load. Okay, so somewhere here we need to locate the load, normalized load, and draw the VSWR circle. Okay, now we have to move a distance D from the load such that we need to, either we need to go the conductance circle, or we need to go to the resistance circle, unity resistance or unity conductance circle, such that you have to move the load point. So now here see, so this is my load point. So now either I can move so this much distance on the VSWR circle till my resistance circle arrives. Okay, and similarly I can move here also till this point, and we can, so this is the distance where, so from the load we are moving. Okay, so or this is the distance we are moving. So there are many solutions which exist. So now we have to see what is the reactance, so at this point and at this point. So correspondingly we have to find the length of the stub in order to eliminate this reactance, and finally we arrive at the center point. Okay, so this is how the procedure we need to use. So now let us take one problem, and we will see how we can able to design the matching network for distribute by using the distributed element. Okay, so now let us take this problem. The problem is, one more thing here. So instead of writing this piece of transmission line, even we can use the different fabrication technology like waveguide technology or microstrip technology like that. So now we can write this stub in terms of the microstrip technology. Like, so if we have the ZL, okay, so now this distance, it is a transmission line with a characteristic impedance Z1. So we can represent this microstrip line technology like this, and we have the series, so which is stub. Again we can write the series stub like this, so which is having a characteristic impedance Z0. So like this we can write the microstrip technology, and even for this, so we can write, so where we have the YL, okay, so and then so we have the characteristic impedance Z01 this point, and we have used the parallel short stub. So this is parallel short stub we can write. So this is the length. So this is how we can use the microstrip technology to represent the same, so whatever we have written here. Okay, so this is having a Z0 characteristic impedance. So like this, so based on the technology we have to use, so the microstrip technology or waveguide technology, we can use the representation. And why which technology uses the short stub and open stub? So depending upon the application. So let us say if you are having the coaxial kind of thing, so since the coaxial cable, which will be preferably we will go for the short stub, and similarly if we go for the normal microstrip technology, so that will use the open stub. So that is like strip line technology or microstrip technology, they will use the short stub, because open stub if you do in the microstrip technology, that will going to radiate at the ends. So that is what the problem will face. So that's why we will use the short stub, and even in the waveguide technology we will use the open stub. Okay, so now we can use one such problem. We can try to do that problem, where we can match the impedance from load point to the characteristic impedance of the transmission or feed line. So where we feed here, so that is equal to Z0. So let us take one such problem and we will do it using the distributed element. So now let us take this problem. So where we have, okay, so design a matching network. Design a matching network using a single stub, so which is open. We have to use single stub open circuited as a tuning element. Okay, so to match a load impedance of of ZL, which is equal to 20 plus j 30 ohm to a 50 ohm feed transmission line. Okay, so this is what the problem is. So now we have to, the first step, we have to normalize the load, which is equal to 20 plus j 30 divided by 50, which is equal to 0.4 plus j 0.6. Okay, so now we need to locate this point in the Smith chart. Okay, so in the Smith chart we need to locate the ZL, which we have got now, that is ZLN, which is equal to 20 plus j 30, so divided by 50, which is 0.4 plus j 0.6. So we can have this one, so plus j 0.6. So here, now we have this one 0.4, again 0.6, which is, this is the point where we have the load, normalized load. Okay, so now from this point, so we need to, so first we need to move on the VSWR circle. So first take that radius and draw the VSWR circle. Okay, so now I have drawn the VSWR circle. You can see this is the VSWR circle. Okay, so now this is my VSWR circle. So now we can see, so our unity resistance circle and conductance circle are here. These are my unity, this is unity conductance circle, and this is unity resistance circle. Okay, so now, so first we need to move a distance from the load in order to arrive unity conductance circle or unity resistance circle. So now how much distance we are moving, you need to see. So always we need to move towards the generator. So that is what we have, because we are having at the load point. Okay, so in order to get the, so the point where we have unity resistance circle or unity conductance circle, from the load point we need to move a distance d towards the generator. Okay, so always keep it in mind, it should be towards generator. So here the point is this one. Okay, so now we need to move always clockwise direction. So any point on the unity resistance circle or unity, so conductance circle, so we need to move always the clockwise direction. You should not, if it is near means you should not come the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so we should always move towards generator, because we are moving towards the generator from the load point. Okay, so now if I take this one and if I move from here to here, that is the distance where we are so moving from the load point to the generator. Okay, so now we are moving till this point, so we will find out what is the distance we are moving. Okay, so now this much distance I am moving. Okay, so for the solution 1, okay, so for the solution 1 I am moving the distance d, which is equal to, so here it is 0.174, okay, minus, so 0.094. This is the distance I am moving. So this point is 0.0174 and here it is 0.094. So now the distance we are moving here So on the transmission line, which is equal to 0.080 lambda. So this is the distance we are moving from this point to till the unity resistance circle. Okay. So now we can see at this point what is the reactance value. Okay, so the reactance value at this point it is here 1.4. So now in the problem, so what it is actually told that you have to use single stub which is open. Okay, so only you have to use the open stub. So whether you can use series or whether you can use short. Okay, so that is not a problem, but you have to use the you have to use the open only, whether you can use parallel or series. Okay, so that is what you have to do. So either you can do series or whether you can do the parallel stub, but you have to use open stub. So now here, so we'll use the series stub. Okay, this is ZL. So now we have moved the distance D. Now at this point we'll use the series stub. Okay, so now the series value of the reactance, which is J1.4 plus J1.4. So now we need to eliminate this J1.4. So that's why I need to find the length from the open point, that is open circuit point. So length of the stub, which will give minus J1.4. So that is, so now we can see here, so we have Z equal to 0 here. So now from this point I need to move till the value of minus J1.4. So that is minus J1.4 is here. So now till this value I need to move from here to here. So that is not my length of the stub, that is length of the series stub I need to connect. So that this will going to nullify and I will get the matching at the center of the Smith chart. So that is, this is what the length of the series stub, so which is open, not short. So it is open series stub. So because it is in the problem which is given it as open, and also we are finding out the length from the open circuit point. Okay, so this is what the length we will going to get. So what is the length? So you can see here, so it is from 0 and it is 0.348, that is 0.348 lambda, the value of the length of the stub. Okay, so now this is what the first solution. D we got, L we got, minus, that is 0.348 lambda. Is it understood? Any doubt in this? How we will get the solution? First solution. Hello? Anybody, any doubt?
Sir, again, can you show that length? How did you measure, sir?
Yeah,
Length.
here it is the open circuit point, right? So now
Yes.
you can see wavelength towards generator that we have already measured in previous problems and all. So wavelength towards generator. Okay, so that scale you need to go till the point where 1.4 J is there. So in the lower part it is minus 1.J4, is it not? This point is minus J1.4, but we need to nullify plus J1.4, which is at this point, that we need to nullify by using the length of the stub. So we know that, so any length of the stub which will offer either it is reactance or susceptance based on whether it is parallel or series. Okay, so now we have the series, so stub, which will actually give the reactance. So now we have at this point the reactance value, which is J1.4. So in order to nullify this, so we need to take the length where it will give, so minus J1.4. So now we have minus J1.4, which is opposite to this. It is plus in the upper half and minus in the lower half we have here. So till from this open circuit point, okay, since we are using the open stub, so from the open circuit point you need to move till the value of 1.4. So that is the length of the stub we will going to calculate. Is it understood?
Yes, sir.
So now similarly you can try to do the other solutions. So from this point to this point, first you move, what is the distance you measure from this point to, again draw the line to this value and subtract the distance in terms of lambda outside the outermost circle in the Smith chart. So that is the distance which is given, and at this point you measure what is the value of the reactance offered, so which is exactly minus j, so 1.4, which is earlier to 1. So here minus j 1.4 is there. So now we need to nullify minus j 1.4 means, so we need to take plus j 1.4, and here since it is a open stub, from here to this point you have to measure the length of the stub. That is what the second solution you will going to get. So you have to measure length till 1.4 and you have to move the distance from this point to this point. That is the second solution. Similarly, we have to move till further this conductance circle and we can able to get the, so another two solutions. Okay. So that is what we will going to get. So for again short open stub and here series open stub. For series open stub, two solutions. Okay, and then series, so short, parallel open stub, two solutions you will going to get. Series open stub, two solutions. Parallel or shunt open stub, again two solutions you will going to get. Okay, so you try to do this. So parallel or shunt open stub solutions. So if you don't get, we will discuss tomorrow. Okay, so is it okay? Is it understood? Any doubt? Okay, so you try to do it. So we will see in the next class.